Well, good morning, everyone. And thank you for coming to what you will soon learn is a very spectacular announcement today. I'm going to be very careful that I don't steal the thunder from those who have worked so hard to get us here, but please allow me to make a few introductory comments. And first, I want to welcome our very special guests. We have with us this morning a number of our Board of Trustee members, Chair Chuck George, Secretary Anita Hackstead, Dr. Sergel Erzrum, and I know Sterling Williams is on his way in if he hasn't arrived yet, and Mike Peterson. So we're grateful for your presence. We also have a number of our elected officials and dignitaries with us this morning. First of all, Chancellor Mike Duffy from the Ohio Department of Higher Education. Chancellor Duffy, I know it was a very long drive for you, but thank you for coming up. Senator Al Catrona is here. Representative Tex Fisher is here. Representative Lauren McNally is here. And Representative David Thomas is here. Thank you all for being here as well. We also have Mayor Derek McDowell. Is this your first out of the office official meeting that you've had other than city council or something like that? Okay, well, we're glad to have you here this morning. And we have Eric Kennedy and Jacob Coleman from representing U.S. Congressman Michael Ruley's office. Thank you, folks, for being here. We also have various members of the media and community partners and friends of Youngstown State University here with us today. You know, your presence today reflects something that I've made a priority since I started a little over 2 years ago, and that is YSU leads from the front by staying connected to our community, to our students, our people, and our communities, our partners. As we start this new year, I'd ask you to think about and remember something very important. Youngstown State University has served this region for more than a century. That's our mission, service. That's our vision, and it guides every decision that we make. So what we're announcing today did not happen by accident. It happened because people across this campus show up every day to do the hard work. They work with integrity, putting service to this institution before their own personal agendas. They set clear expectations. They deliver results. And first and foremost, they understand that YSU is a partner in our community, not merely a spectator. One of these key leaders is Dr. Amy Constantino. Amy, come this way. In her role as Associate Provost for Experiential Learning and Engagement and Dean of the Sokolov Honors College, Amy has built the framework for how we organize, measure, and evaluate YSU's engagement mission. She's done it alongside a talented team. And what you're going to hear about today is the culmination of their hard, focused work. It's the result of her leadership and collaborative approach to driving a standard of excellence that is second to none. And let me say this about Dr. Constantino. I want to share this with you. She understands that engagement isn't something we simply talk about at YSU. It's something we live. It's who we are. It's the reason people know why YSU is such a special place. Here at YSU, community engagement is central to to who we are. It's embedded in our culture, and it drives our standard of leadership. So please join me in welcoming Dr. Amy Constantino to share this fantastic news with you today. And we're about to reveal the big secret. Most of you don't know why we're here. Dr. Constantino.
Well, good morning, everybody. Let me get set up here real quick. I want to make sure the laptop didn't run out of juice before we got started. And there's some seats up here. If anybody wants to come on up, there's some seats that are available. People don't want to stand. This journey began a long time ago. Back in August of 2018, a delegation from YSU attended the Campus Compact Conference in Columbus, Ohio. There we heard the keynote speaker, Dr. Ken Reardon. He was a retired faculty member sharing an inspiring story of collaboration between graduate students he was teaching while he was at the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign and the residents of East St. Louis. His work showed the power of campus and community coming together by transforming neighborhoods, creating impactful learning experiencing, and producing research and reports that shape careers and communities. At YSU, we were in the early stages of developing our strategic plan to take charge of our future. We invited Dr. Reardon to campus as a thought leader. He met with faculty, students, university, and community leaders, emphasizing that true collaboration begins by listening to the needs of the community. During his visit, he joined local mayors, planners, nonprofit leaders for a working breakfast and a tour of Youngstown. He was impressed the entire time by the deep affection that people have for this place. Also during that day, the Sokolow Honors College held their annual Volunteerism and Service Learning Showcase, and Dr. Reardon saw firsthand the impact of YSU's service locally and globally. In his keynote, he challenged us with a simple question: what more can we do? That challenge became our calling. Dr. Mike Sherman, along with the strategic planning organization team leading the strategic planning process at the time, recognized the collective impact on the region arising from these very types of campus community partnerships that had connections at Youngstown State University in our community for a very long time. There were numerous conversations that took place, and pursuing the Carnegie Foundation's elective classification for community engagement was included as a goal in the strategic plan. In spring of 2020, the Honors College launched a new campus community partnership seminar, incorporating the characteristics that mirror a community-engaged course and expanding engagement more deeply into the curriculum for honor students beyond their initial first semester. Considering the call of what more we can do and not wanting what was happening with COVID restrictions in 2020 to take us a step backwards with these impactful learning experiences, YSU continued to answer the call. Our friends at United Way of Youngstown and Mahoning Valley often share how our YSU athletes and coaches partnered with them and local donors for food distribution to those who are in need around the valley, which has continued to grow with Saturday of Caring that's offered every third Saturday of the month. And many people in this room come to help deliver and pack food, so thank you for that. Also, transcribing documents became a long-standing partnership with YSU students, now having transcribed over 55,000 documents that represent 6% of all documents held at the Library of Congress. But the message still remained the same: what more can we do? In fall of 2021, my role expanded to include developing community-engaged initiatives within YSU's strategic plan. We immersed ourselves in learning about the Carnegie Elective classification for community engagement as we connected to institutions that had earned it and attended every training session that was available to us. But let me take a step back and just mention, what is the Carnegie Foundation? It was established in 1905 by an act of Congress, and it recognizes the various types of institutions. And it also recognizes institutions that demonstrate extraordinary commitment to their public purpose. Its elective community engagement classification recognizes institutions that have partnerships between universities and their communities that enrich learning, research and creative activities, and civic responsibility. In 2022, we officially began our road to Carnegie, and this was one of the first steps in launching the YSU Penguin Pulse system through GivePulse. This is a platform that tracks and promotes community-engaged opportunities. This replaced scattered spreadsheets from across campus and created a centralized system for students, departments, and faculty. The platform quickly grew thanks to the efforts of Andrea Tharp, who manages the system and trains campus and community partners. We also adapted the watermark system that faculty use to log and record all of their scholarly community-engaged activities. Both systems became key to developing the infrastructure we needed to collect, communicate, assess, and report all engagement efforts. In fall of 2022, we launched a university-wide self-study through the Community Engagement Council, which is a group of individuals from across the entire campus where we were assessing our strengths and we were constantly looking for opportunities for growth. Findings were shared with then President Tressel and our Board of Trustees with input from all campus stakeholder groups, as well as our Community Partner Advisory Council that formed to ensure the community voice was heard and part of this process. Next, in spring of 2023, the Sokolov Honors College rebranded the Volunteerism Service Learning Showcase as a Community Engagement Symposium. This was done to reflect the alignment of YSU with the characteristics that showed that we had a broader vision of community engagement. Students from across campus, faculty, and community partners were invited to present. From the self-study, we also learned that we needed a centralized front door for engagement, not to control, but to connect. We learned that community partners wanting to connect with resources didn't always know how to gain access, and so we stood up the Office of Community Engagement. Now this is the clearinghouse for communicating, connecting, and coordinating partnerships and curating newsletters that go out to different groups every month, also with managing the YSU Penguin Pulse system. YSU was also that spring approved as a member of the Engagement Scholarship Consortium, which is an organization that contributes to national conversations on community engagement. Meanwhile, the Academic Senate Honors Subcommittee, led by Dr. Amy Weaver, professor in the nursing school, began reviewing and recommending courses with the Community Engaged Learning designation. 61 courses to date now carry this attribute. These courses represent engagement, reciprocity, reflection, and public dissemination characteristics. In December 2023, we presented to our Board of Trustees and we talked about our self-study, our opportunities for growth, and we were able to get tremendous support, so thank you. January 26, 2024, the official application was released. This gave us until April 1st of 2025 to submit. It really was game on for us. We could use the data from 2020 through December of 2024, and the challenge was steep, as there were 10 sections covering institutional culture, partnerships, faculty engagement, curricular integration, and far more. With the guidance from former president of the Ohio Campus Compact, Richard Kinsley, we knew first-time applicants rarely succeed, but we embraced the question, what more can we do? In training sessions, we learned that leadership changes can sometimes slow momentum when building a community-engaged campus. However, in January 2024, we welcomed new leadership with President Johnson, whose unwavering support from volunteering at Second Harvest Food Bank with us to championing our efforts was invaluable. You made a promise in this very room that you would help us in any way that you could. Thank you for making good on that promise. We made our road to Carnegie more visible through the annual Community Engagement Symposium and a MOG library display that was led by Dr. Molly Hartup. Also, VP Sarah Keeler's team in government relations opened up lines of communication to secure representatives from our elected officials. Provost Adams played a critical role supporting and ensuring governance documents, tenure rubrics, faculty development, and recognition systems reflected the values of community-engaged teaching, research, and service. And by August of 2024, community engagement was included as a pillar of our academic master plan, reinforcing our commitment to a community-engaged campus. Community engagement was also identified as what we would report on, or what we will report on, in the 2026 YSU's Quality Initiative for the Higher Learning Commission, all of which demonstrate integrated community engagement. That fall, we also launched the Division of Experiential Learning and Engagement to align efforts for greater impact through internal collaboration. By December 2024, we held a faculty development session facilitated by the Office of Community Engagement, Honors, and our Institute for Teaching and Learning, and brought in a leading expert in community engaged scholarly activities from Virginia Tech, Dr. Susan Short. Faculty, chairs, and deans were all active learners. This marked the ending point of data that would inform our application, and draft number 8 was prepared for campus leadership to review in January. January 2025, we were in the final stretch towards April 1st deadline to submit the application. We had an answer for every question with supporting exemplars. What we knew is that reviewers look for deep, pervasive, and integrated community engagement. But what does that really mean? Deep is going beyond volunteerism and short-term projects. This is the university working with our community partners in ways that matter and ways that last. Pervasive is that engagement does not operate in a silo, but it shows up everywhere in many forms across campus. Integrated, and this might be one of the most important of the three. The Carnegie reviewers look for engagement that connects to our mission, our strategic plan, our academic master plan, accreditation, with clear leadership and accountability, with budgeting, staffing, assessment structures, and support. Community engagement is not considered as extra, but as part of how Youngstown State University defines excellence, makes decisions, and measures our success. I'd like to share a sampling of the exemplars that we had in our application. These represent both curricular and co-curricular partnerships. I gotta take a drink because this is a mouthful. And I'm gonna put this into kind of bucket areas for you. Health and wellness partnerships. And I'm not gonna say the whole thing, but I'm gonna give you little tidbits. Youngstown City Health District, training nursing students on state vision protocols for real-world application. Nursing in United Way vision screenings for tens of thousands of Mahoning Valley students. This has been going on since 2017. Teachers are reporting that it improves their academic performance. Sight for All United with Clear Eyes on Campus vision van that we held just a year or so ago. This connected to literacy initiatives in support of Governor DeWine's Read Ohio statewide effort. Mercy Health in multiple ways. Our exercise science students in their clinical exercise physiology course deliver individualized exercise programs for patients who attend Mercy Health for their cancer treatments, but they can't receive this care elsewhere. Also, our local physicians with medical school-bound students in our YSU BackMed program, helping students in those courses foster their development and enhance their learning. Education and literacy initiatives. Youngstown City Schools and Project PASS, 11,000 students tutored, 130,000 plus hours logged, and 30,000 books distributed since 2014. The Dr. Abdu Penguin Pen Pal program. YSU students paired with elementary school students across 8 school districts in Ohio and Western Pennsylvania. And these are children who are in grades 3 through 6. They have biweekly exchanges in journals with one of our honor students. Oftentimes, teachers report that the kids can't wait for those journals to come in the building because they can't wait to hear from their pen pals. The Trestle Institute for Leadership and Teamwork, we started high school programs. And this is led by YSU honor students and our Office of the Trestle Institute in Leadership. And they began in 2 schools, and this is now going to be expanding to 7 local school districts. The themes, all based upon what is articulated by the schools in terms of what the student needs are. Community development and economic engagement. United Way again, honor students raising donations. I don't know how many of you have seen the Ys and penguins that have been painted across driveways, but it's been the honor students raising money to donate to United Way so that they can help stand up their care closets and other initiatives. YBI Shark Tank with our students supporting YBI's signature annual fundraiser. The Youngstown Warren Regional Chamber in Eastgate with multiple initiatives, but one in particular with Dr. Summel, whose economic students develop strategies for talent retention in the Valley. Dr. Hazel Marie and EAG City Project for students who have a STEM-based background, where they explored and presented on their work and their research with food deserts, road monitoring, and water quality. Again, our Economic Action Group and the Trek Coffee House, where art students designed and painted a community mural that was selected through public voting. Many other organizations connecting with Professor Dragana in the Cliff College. Then we have some specialized partnerships as well. The Rich Center for Autism, partnering with Mahoning Valley Scrappers to build a sensory suite at the Eastwood Mall. Akron Children's Hospital and NeoMed with honors graduate student and Dr. Ronald Cease, who created an autism toolkit for families. Potential Development received $3,000 through the Pay It Forward Student Philanthropy Fund in the WCBA to fund Potential Development's Special Olympics team. Dr. Ron Shackley, who has had a long-standing honors seminar representing the global community engagement with decades of working with partners in the Bahamas on projects that were necessitated by hurricanes, and that would help to get them to a better place. Pre-Vet Club with the YSU student organizations, one of which is under our Division of Student Affairs, holding a clinic on campus with students and multiple local vets to educate and provide affordable care for approximately 200 pets. Dr. Amy Fluker and the Trumbull County Historical Society, where students created a searchable cemetery database, and more work continues with Dr. Fluker with America 250. Infrastructure and crisis response. YSU partnered with community organizations to assist in the aftermath of East Palestine train derailment and the downtown Youngstown explosion, demonstrating commitment to work with the community in times of need. And this, my friends and colleagues, this is just an example. This is not everything that we had in this application. But they're not random acts. These were all woven into our identity as an institution and community, with our students building differentiating skills, our faculty advancing scholarship, and our community seeing measurable outcomes. By March, we presented, this is March of 2025, we presented our final draft to the Board of Trustees and submitted on March 14th. This was after 9 drafts and countless hours from our writing team, Andrea Tharp, Dr. Molly Hartup, Dr. Amy Weaver. They worked in shifts literally around the clock with input from faculty chairs, leaderships from all divisions, and community partners. Even at the 11th hour, our community partners Roxanne Seabest from United Way and Daniel Bancroft from EAG were coming in clutch to strengthen the final version that we would submit. We ended up submitting on March 14th. The original deadline was April 1st, but I had really a big problem with submitting on April Fool's Day. Our community partners were incredible throughout this journey. A part of the evaluation process was feedback from community partners. We went on a tour, meeting with our partners from across the valley to explain what the next steps were and how this would involve them. But we listened to what the partners were saying, and there was a common theme. Where would we be without YSU? We had the ability to monitor the percentage of submissions from our community partners. We knew from other institutions that response rates could be lower than what we were hoping. Within 2 weeks of submitting our application, 100% of our partners, which was not the norm, submitted their feedback through the evaluation process, affirming YSU's role in addressing community needs. But patience is a virtue, and I don't have a whole lot of that, which I just shared with Provost Pintar recently. Oh, Adams. I will get this. So dating back to, again, where I first mentioned Dr. Ken Reardon, what more can we do? So after the submission of the application, the work continued. New courses were earned the CE designation. Students were engaging in the community. We moved the Office of Community Engagement and Experiential Learning to Mel Nicole alongside the Tressel Institute for Leadership and Teamwork. Thank you to our board members from TILT that are here today. The wait hasn't been easy. Knowing first-time applicants rarely succeed. My greatest concern was how do we keep a campus and community motivated and moving forward if we do experience the absence of this designation. But then in October, we were at the Engagement Scholarship Consortium. This was in Roanoke, Virginia. And something remarkable was happening. National leaders were asking our team how the institution executed on various programs and strategies, watching our YSU team members in attendance take the lead during conference sessions. And it made my heart grow 10 sizes. My friends, dear colleagues, and valued community partners, I was thinking at this moment, maybe, just maybe. And since we are an institution that puts students at our center, I couldn't think of any better way to reveal what we're about to share with you today. Take a look. We're very proud to announce that Youngstown State University, as a first-time applicant, has been selected to receive the Carnegie Foundation's elective classification for community engagement. Thank you to our students. So what does this mean? For students, community-engaged learning opportunities are differentiators. We see this with our alumni all the time. For faculty, recognition of engaged teaching, research, and creative activities. For our community, it's a promise that we will keep listening and partnering. For YSU, this designation affirms we are who we say we are. We're developing and maintaining mutually beneficial partnerships that meet the needs of the community. As Lieutenant Governor Tressel, who could not be with us here today, but he reminds us it's all about the team. And this team is represented by every stakeholder in this room. Special thanks to those who helped pull off today, because we were under an embargo, and I apologize to everybody. I can't even keep straight how many stories I told to get to so please forgive me, my Pinocchio nose was quite long. So to everybody who gave countless hours, thank you. To our creative team, Jay and ETC, AVI for refreshments, Becky Rose, and our local media, thank you for helping us tell this story. To all the Sokolov Honors College and Division of Experiential Learning Engagement team, as well as my colleagues across campus, thank you for your contributions to these collective efforts. There's simply too many of you to mention here by name. We'd literally be here all day. There are community partners, our elected officials, donors, grant funding sources, Chancellor Duffy for making the trip up here today. Thank you for the partnerships, the support now, and the support into the future. For Youngstown State University, the City of U, the Mahoning Valley, and every region, state, globally, wherever we are, those communities that we serve, this designation represents a culture of grit, gratitude, and enormous generosity. So thank you for being here. We are going to turn this to bringing up some of our friends who are here with us today, so we have a little bit more of our program. So if we could bring up Senator Alcatrona.
While Senator Catrona is getting here, as you probably noticed, Amy is really quick to pass on all of the credit to the team. This is a direct result of her leadership. And the one thing she didn't say, out of modesty, there are thousands of universities and institutions across the United States. Only 277 across the nation received this designation. This is a really big deal. So thank you all. And Amy, thank you.
Well, I gotta tell you, I'm very excited to be here today, not only as Youngstown State Senator, but more importantly, as a proud alumni of YSU. And as a proud alumni, I know better than anybody that Youngstown State University is the cornerstone of the Valley. And what we see here today with this award shows what we already know. And so, you know what I want to say? Thank you guys for your hard work. Thank you for everybody in this room that's made this possible. And on behalf of not only myself, but the President of the Senate. I want to present to you, President Johnson, the award here from the state here. It's the President's letter recognizing this incredible accomplishment. So thank you for what you guys do, for both of you guys, for what you guys do. So thank you. And
Where's our photographer at? Up close. There we go. Did everybody get it?
Next, have a delegation from Lake to River. If they would like to come.
Well, first, a huge congratulations. It goes without saying, this is an amazing accomplishment, and thank you so much for inviting us to be here. The theme seems to be teamwork, and so I'm excited to have my team here, that we work so well together in your Lake to River delegation from the Ohio State House. So all of us put together a accommodation recognizing today's events, and would like to present that to you guys from the Ohio State House.
Our official program, but we are going to be getting some pictures. For those who are going to be staying back for some pictures, please hang back. But thank you again, everybody, for being here.